Hi, this is Jarvis from StoryLucent, the creator behind StoryLucent, and today we're going to go ahead and overview the TextWriter node for the Story Node Editor. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what that's capable of doing. First thing we're going to do is start off with a pre-set up scene. I just want to go ahead and highlight that I already have a canvas here set up with a text component attached to it, so the Story Node Editor can go ahead and write into it. That's about it. We're going to go ahead and open up the Story Node Editor from the window menu above. I'll select the Story Node Editor itself. It's got a launcher here, still work in progress. I'm going to go ahead and pin that to one of the tabs here in the center. Let's go ahead and create a story. So I'll go ahead and click on the Create a Story option. I'm going to give it a name. So just for the time being, we'll call it the TextWriter story. And I'll click on Done over here. All right, and let's go ahead and open that up. So I'll click on the Open option here. It starts with a start node. Every room here will start with a start node. I'll go ahead and add in the first thing. Every story requires an element. So a story element is what I'm going to create here. That's the minimum that it needs to get started from this aspect. I'll connect it through. It's got an introduction and an outro option here, but we're only going to go ahead and just edit it as is. Now, to begin, we need to go inside of that element to add in a chapter so we can add some actions. I'm going to click on the portal button right here to go inside of the element node. Now we're inside the element node. You'll see a new tab at the top, a start node. I'm going to add in a chapter to this element, and once I connect it here, it will identify it as the first chapter, number 1. Let's go inside that chapter, click on the portal button so we can add some actions. Now I'm going to begin with the TextWriter node option here. I'll connect it to the start node, and let's add in some text. This is the TextWriter node. That's it. Once I'm done there, let's go ahead and give it a playback. Before I do, there is a StoryWriter component here, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in the scene. I'm going to add in our story to the story director. And that's it. So let's go ahead, enter in play mode, and see what we've come up with. I'll click on the start option to start the story over here in the inspector. And voila, there's our text. This is a TextWriter node. Let's go ahead and exit play mode. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at a few more components there of the TextWriter node. I'll go back to our Story Node Editor. And just to recap here, I do have the story menu where we can open up the first story that we have. And from the element node, we have inside of that the chapter node, and inside of that we have the actions itself. Let's add in 2 additional TextWriter components. I'll connect these all together. They'll be given the appropriate IDs, the sequence numbers. And for this one, I'll just say this is the second node. I'll click on the third TextWriter here. Let's write it inside the inspector here. This is the end. All right, if I could spell that right. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is select the first TextWriter node here. And in the inspector, we have a couple of options, controls, options right here. I'm going to slow down the fade in of the text. So I'm going to increase the fade time from 0.1 to 0.3. And I'm going to change the color to red. Now on the second one here, let's go ahead and change the color to green. So I selected the second node, change it to green, make it very hard to read, and we'll leave the last one alone. So now I'll go ahead and enter into play mode. We'll see what options or what creation we've come up with. I'll click on our start option from the story director. We'll see here the first one comes in incredibly slower. Now, it doesn't take too much time to get started. A whole lot can be created here from just the basics of the StoryLucent Story Node Editor. I'll click on Next to go to the next node. And I'll go ahead and click on Next once again. I think I misspelled node. And then it says this is the end. So that's it. That ends it here. My name is Jarvis again. This is just a review of the TextWriter Node Editor. Look out for additional videos. I'll demonstrate additional nodes as time goes on until beta release. Thank you again for your interest, and take care.